Hey everyone, welcome back, welcome back. Well, as you can see, this will be a celebrity request reading on the one and only Chris Evans, aka Captain America. All right, everyone. So this request has come in from a subscriber, Mono. This is your reading on Chris Evans. So first and foremost, I want to just make mention right quick that if you did finish watching my upload shout out video, one of which is when I played it back, I heard like a sound that was very annoying to me. So I apologize. I don't know where that sound came from. So if you happen to come across that video prior to this coming up, I apologize. I don't know, like I said, where it came from, but I was aware of it after kind of playing back. So I apologize for that. But also in that video, I think you guys saw my excitement about bringing and performing this reading on Chris Evans because one, I am also a big fan of his. He's been on my radar ever since going back to at least Fantastic Four, which also he was in as Johnny the Human Torch. All right, but I also mentioned that I will be making jokes. I will be having jokes. I'm going to just have fun with this reading because, like I say, I'm not the only one that are fans of his. You know, first and foremost, let me just say this. To you guys in YouTube land, let's go back 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, when we saw the story hit the social medias pertaining to Mr. Chris Evans coming off the market, getting hitched, and putting a ring on Mrs. Alba Batista. Now, how many of you, for those that come across this video, but particularly my ladies out there, how many of you were like, no, say it isn't so? That's what I said when I saw that story, that he got married, even though it was secretly, but we didn't know. It was a surprise. It just came up suddenly, and it's like, no, say it isn't so. So, for those ladies like me who are fans of Chris Evans, about 2 weeks ago, we were sad, disappointed, our hearts broken. He didn't care about our hearts. He didn't care about breaking our hearts out there when it was said that he married his girlfriend of about a year, Alba Batista. And so I'm going to say to you guys that, you know, how dare he? I'm just kidding. I'm happy for him. I'm happy for him. And so, yes, ladies, he is off the market. He is now officially a married man. All right. And so, the subscriber Mono that has requested this reading, we're going to dive into your questions and your concerns pertaining not only to his marriage and will he have kids and what have you, but also you wanted to know, first and foremost, you wanted to know, will he resume his acting and continue his career, or will he settle down with his wife and have children? Will he ultimately retire altogether? So those are the questions that you wanted me to address. And so we are going to address those questions. All right. And so, and in between, I'm just going to let you know, we're going to have jokes, but I will say this to Mrs. Alba. You have a big responsibility, okay? Your responsibility is you better treat Chris right. You better treat our Captain America right. Because if you don't, I'm coming for you. Personally, I'm going to come for you if you break his heart. And I think there are other fellow ladies out there that will feel the same way. So you better treat him right, all right? Or else, like I said, I'm coming for you, Abba. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But she is very lucky to have Mr. Captain America, right? As we ladies, we want to see and kind of, get a Captain America, putting a ring on. Well, for most of your ladies, that is looking to find their Captain America where he will put a ring on your finger. And yet and still, like I said, if you have had a big, huge crush on Chris Evans and then to kind of stumble upon this story that he just got married, I know that he as well broke your heart. So what we going to do, ladies? What we going to do? So it has to go back to Mrs. Alba that she better treat him right, ladies? All right, so with that being said, let's dive in and see what we have here going on with Chris. And so, as I have already stated, that he is known for 3 popular characters, one of which is, of course, Captain America, right? Followed by Fantastic Four, another huge film, him being Johnny, being the Human Torch, and then as well appearing again as Captain America in Avengers, okay? So those are the 3 major roles and characters that he is well known for. As we already know that there are other, movies that he has appeared in, but when it comes to these 3 that I just named, that is where he shines, and that is where he take over the screen, all right? So, to address your first question, Mono, in terms of, with everything that has happened, and now that you can say he is a married man, right? You wanted to know, will he resume his acting? I will say that I feel like prior to pulling out any cards, I always try to channel and kind of see what I feel intuitively. And I will say that and when the cards come out, then it kind of confirms what I already feel. So I feel like technically he hasn't officially retired from acting, okay? So he still is acting. But when it comes to his retiring or putting away his shield, his Captain America shield, I feel in that essence, yes, that role as Captain America, you can say pretty much has retired, I feel strongly. I also feel when it comes to Avengers, when it comes to these franchises altogether, I feel like whenever it was his last appearance in those movies, I feel ultimately that is the end. I don't feel that he will be reprising those roles. Okay, that is what I feel. But him entirely being retired, I don't see him being retired at this time. In the future, yes. What I do see strongly about is that he will be taking smaller roles. So I feel like when it comes to being like this mega star and having the mega roles, like the main characters, I think that is coming down to the wire. I don't think he wants to like do those kind of big roles anymore. I feel like anything that you see him in, it's going to be smaller roles, if that makes sense, okay? And this is what I feel, and the cards here kind of clarified that. So I just feel, like I say, moving ahead, I feel that, he have already kind of made his mark as playing the superhero. And I just feel like he just don't want to be pigeonholed anymore. You know how celebrities are, with certain, especially with actors. When it comes to TV shows, when it comes to films, movies, when you are used to seeing a certain actor playing a certain role for quite some time, it's like they would feel like, I don't want to just be known for this. I want to be able to see, myself playing other characters. So for him, I feel like he don't want to just continue to keep playing these characters. One of which is because I feel like he is interested in trying other things. One of which as well, he now is a family man, so it's like now he's kind of winding down that part of his life anyway. You can say that his acting career is winding down because now he does want to focus in on his personal life, right? So now, because we did get the Justice here, which is the first card out, which I'm going to get back to in a second, I feel now he is in a point in his life that he wants to bring balance into his life. So balancing that of his professional life and now balancing his personal life when it comes to love, when it comes to relationship. Now he wants to focus on that, okay? But when it comes to his acting career, although he hasn't officially retired, I just feel that he will be taking smaller roles and that he's not interested taking those big major roles anymore, because the bigger you are, the bigger the star you are, the bigger the roles are, it involves a lot, right, behind the scenes. You have a big script and there's a lot involved, and I just feel like he's in a place in his life that he is trying to settle down, and especially being a freshly new married man, he wants to kind of devote his time and his energy into his wife, okay? So let's go back to now the card. So that's what I feel intuitively about him, when I kind of, trying to figure out how he's feeling and what it is he's feeling and what he's trying to do overall is ultimately the first card up that came out in the spread was Justice. So Justice is about balance, bringing equilibrium, but bringing some sort of balance into your life. But at the same time, it can also speak about the timing. It can also be about time. I feel like for him, the timing is sort of right in terms of kind of slowing down his career, okay, and not being so about his career, right? So even though it hasn't disappeared where he's looking to retire altogether, I feel like a few more years, I feel like he may decide to kind of like retire. So he's 42 years old. And so at 42, I feel like he still want to try the things, but like I said, it'll be smaller roles. So it's almost like, he wants to kind of challenge himself to see what else he can do and not just be seen as Captain America, the Human Torch. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's just going to be very smaller roles and that he's going to be happily okay with doing those smaller roles, right? Now, also, we have next up from that, the next card up we have is the Five of Cups. So the Five of Cups is sad. So I'm picking up like a bittersweet type of energy from him. So even though, like I said, he hasn't officially retired from acting altogether, but I feel like he knows in his heart of hearts that my life is changing. I just became a married man, a newly married man, and like he sees and feels the transformation of his life, and when you think about years back when it was just himself and him, basically, no wife, no children, no one. It was just him being a bachelor, right? It was a little bit more different. He was all about his career. But now he's 42 years old, and it's like now my life is actually beginning to transform. I am metamorphosing into someone that is ready to just try different things, right? So you can say he's in the pinnacle of his life of bringing balance, and it's all new for him. But at the same time, I feel there's a sadness, but like a bittersweet type of energy, because it's like, okay, now as what used to be my focus, now my focus is not just about my career. Now my focus has to encompass someone else, my wife, right? And so yes, when you are working in a career, especially for actors, it's a whole nother type of arena when it comes to these celebrities, because we know generally celebrities don't have the best rap in terms of marriages lasting. So it's a little bit different when it comes to their world, and when it comes to marriage, it's different. So I feel that for him, he has already feel that if marriage is something that now I've been contemplating. So let's just say before he got married, I already feel that he already knew somewhere, because it's been said that him and his wife, Alba Batista, they have been dating for a year. So I feel like he had already been preparing for this transformation in terms of kind of slowing down his career to now become a family man, if that makes sense, okay? Next to that, in the third position, we have the Queen of Cups. And this is what I'm saying. He is transforming, or he's going through a transition from his career, and now he is thinking, he has love on his mind. Queen of Cups is a very nurturing, a very loving energy. And then when we reach Cups, Cups is about emotion. So you can see that for a moment, he's been leaning toward slowing down so that he can kind of open up to bring that part of his life into focus now. It's no longer about his professional career. It's about now my personal life. It's like, I don't want to be all work and no play, hypothetically, right? So he is introducing and bringing love into his life. And now that has to kind of take focus and kind of put his career on the back burner, okay? The next card up in the fourth position, we have here, Three of Cups. And this is what I'm saying. It's just like the Queen of Cups, that he has found his Queen of Cups. And this is part of the reason also why he is slowing down when it comes to his career. You know, he's taking like a back seat, so to speak. Not walking away from it just yet, but he is taking a back seat. And definitely now that he has celebrated his nuptials with his wife. So Three of Cups is about celebrations of any type of celebratory type of event. And so, of course, this will definitely point to him having recently celebrated getting married to his wife. Okay? So, again, going back to that Justice card, this is where his focus is. So it's not so much now about his career, because like he is, you can say, I feel that he is mentally, definitely emotionally preparing to make that transition from focusing on what has been his focus for the past, at least 10, 15 years that he's been in this business of acting, maybe longer, but at least for a good solid 15 years, at least, he's been in this, doing this, acting career. And so now it's like, now I'm 42 years old. I'm seeing things differently. My mindset is differently. I have matured. Now I want something meaningful. So his life now has taken on a different tone, something that's more meaningful. And what is meaningful for him is settling down and starting a family, building and working toward his own family. Okay? And then the next card that came out in the fifth position, as this was a 6-card spread. So this is the fifth one. We have the Page of Pentacles. So remember in the beginning when I mentioned that as he is winding down, that he's going to be more interested in taking smaller roles. So this to me is corresponding to that, the Page of Pentacles. Pages in the tarot deck is like the lowest type of energy, right? Well, let's put it that way. Let me see. How can I best say it? Page, okay, let's put it this way. You have the Page, which is like the lowest. From the Page, you have the Knight. From the Knight, you have the King. So in the suit of pages, the pages not only brings information, but it's in terms of the status or in terms of the level by which something is presented, right? It could be something presented physically, something that can be presented spiritually, whatever way. But it's something in terms of it not being so much. It's very little and in essence. That's what it can be. That's about the best way I can explain it. So when it translates into what I said about him taking on smaller roles, I feel that's exactly what it be, right? Smaller roles. So it also can be like small money. Now we know him being a big star as it is, it's not where he would be paid little, but I think in terms of the role that he will play, it will be smaller comparison to his big mega role that he's been playing, Captain America, things of that nature, if that makes sense, right? It's a big difference from going from Captain America to maybe a smaller role that's not going to require so much of a script. That's not going to even require maybe him being seen as much, right? So that's what I feel. And then the last card out in the sixth position is the King of Wands. And this is what I'm saying. I feel like he is not going to want to stick with those kind of big roles. Because now you see we're coming down to the highest level, which is king. So I feel like for him, he don't mind. It's like instead of upgrading, he wants to downgrade. So he's going from a king to a page. Okay? And I feel like it doesn't matter. I just feel like every now and then he is going to make, like maybe, cameos here or there, which basically is taking me to the next question. Before we get to him and his wife and the children part, you overall wanted to know, will he then eventually retire? Yes, I feel he will eventually retire. And I feel that when he do retire, or although he do retire, and I feel that I just feel that when he do officially retire from acting, it's going to be maybe in the next 6 years. I don't know why I felt so strong about that. When I was like channeling and just channeling, I just feel like he's going to give himself another 5 or 6 years. But at the same time, there's a part of me that feels he is not going to per se calculate it. Like, I'm just putting it out there. This can happen before 6 years. This can happen around 6 years. But I don't think it will go further than 6 years. That is my opinion. And when I mean that he's not going to calculate it, I feel that he would just all of a sudden, one day, just wake up and feel like, something? This is the day that I want to retire. I just feel that. I just feel like just out of the blue, he is just going to wake up and just feel that way. I'm looking at my notes here because it was something that I mentioned pertaining to him retiring. Because I believe in the shuffle, the pre-shuffle, when I was preparing to open up the deck to shuffle, I think I do remember seeing, I saw let me see something here. Let me see if it was here. I did see the Tower. The Tower is what I pick up. That when he do decide to retire, it's going to be sudden. It's not going to be something that he says, okay, I'm going to give myself another. I feel that he can, but I just feel it's going to be a sudden decision that he decides to do. And it has been done. I have seen other actors do that, where all of a sudden they say, you know what? I have done everything I could. I've done. I'm successful. I'm in a good place in my life right now. And I do just want to just focus primarily on my family. And that's what I feel. Okay. Now, before we jump to the other area, to kind of shed more light about when I spoke about him not wanting to be pigeonholed or confined to just being Captain America or those big roles, at the bottom of the deck, we always look at what you call what other energies is attaching or what's in the shadows. And at the bottom, we have here the Eight of Swords. And this is speaking upon just what I felt. He don't want to be confined or constricted to just being just a big captain, a big superstar like Captain America. I feel like he is at a point that he kind of want to hang up from playing those big roles, those superhero type of roles, right? Knight of Pentacles. Knight of Pentacles is one of the slowest moving energies of the deck. So I feel like, again, this is him slowing down. Him winding down from his career. Not that it's going to stop just yet, but he wants to now slow down his career and focus on other parts of his life. But ultimately, on the top, we have the Six of Wands. The Six of Wands is an energy of success, recognition. So this is what I feel, that he's already been successful. He's already been recognized. Probably out of all the movies that people have seen him in, he's been more recognized as Captain America. Okay? And so I feel like he just don't want to just be seen just with that role, okay? But that he have other interests ahead. Now, what they may include and be, I don't know, but it could just be simple things as maybe hobbies he might have. He might, have other interests, that is. Interest doesn't always have to be pertaining to work. It can be things outside of work. Like, again, tapping into like the personal aspects of his life. Maybe he has a certain hobby that he want to focus on, right? And kind of want to devote himself to that. But I feel that he is transforming. He is metamorphosing into a family man, and that is what it's going to be about. So, right before we get to the other area, so overall, will he retire? Yes, but I feel that it's going to be one of those feelings that he's going to wake up and say, you know something, I think I want to retire, and that will be it. But overall, I feel that it will happen closer to maybe when he turns 48. So I think he's going to give himself a little bit more time, maybe another 5-6 years or so, right? Give or take. No, that time is fluid. Nothing is set in stone, right? So I could be on point about this. I could be not, because he may decide in 2 years and then he want to retire. So, but I'm just feeling that he's going to give himself a little bit more time, but during that time, it's going to be smaller roles. I don't think you're going to see him reprise his other roles. And if he do, he's not coming back as the role that we are used to seeing him in, if that makes sense. He will come back like as someone else, like another character, but it will be something that is nothing like what we are used to seeing him as, if that makes sense. All right, so that is what I got pertaining to his career. So Mono, I hope I addressed your answers there. Now we are going to wind down and come down to, now, will he settle down with his wife and have children? So that is the big question. Now that he's a married man, so he has that already under his belt, being a married man. And so now, will he have children? Is there children in the future? The answer is yes. However, I feel like Chris is holding himself back from having children at this specific time. Only because what I'm feeling and pick up with Chris is that he is nervous. He is panicky. Why? Because I feel he is being hard on himself. In other words, I feel like he wants to be a very good father. Okay? 1 second. I feel like he wants to be a good dad. And he wants to be the best dad he can be. He wants to see his kids look at him like, oh, my dad is awesome, right? But at the same time, it's almost like he needs to prepare. Now, we can never prepare for parenthood, right? It's just something that we just have to kind of go with the flow. But for him, and I think generally for men, especially men, because us women, we already instinctively, innately, right? We have already that mother nature type of, in us, right? To be mothers, right? We just go with the flow and it's already in us. But for men, it's a little bit more different. And this is what I'm saying, that I think when it comes to him, being that he's never been a father, he doesn't have any children. So when he does, he would be, just like marriage. This is his first marriage. He's never been married before. Yes, he's dated and so forth, but I don't think he's never been married before. No, this is his first marriage. That's why it was such a very sad day for us when we found out that he was getting married, right? So, but seriously, I feel like there is a fear in him. He panics about what fatherhood would encompass. And with that, I feel like he holds himself back or want to kind of hold back a little bit. It's almost like he wants to first focus on being a married man. So it's like, let me get this marriage thing under my belt. Let me kind of, just kind of fill this out. Not that when I say that, it's not to say, if it don't work, no. It's to say where it's like, this is a big life change. Marriage is a very big life change, right? For a couple, right? So it's like, hold on, before we bring in any children, let me first focus on my wife. Let's focus on, bonding, because I feel that's very important to him, that he continues to bond with his wife, but kind of wanting to, like I say, give himself time to kind of be that married man first. And then once he feels comfortable, then I feel then yes, that the babies will come. And I feel and pick up at least two. Okay? I pick up two. Now, let's talk about the cards that have come out. So, same thing. This is also a 6-card spread pertaining to will they have a family? Will they have children? The first card up was the 4 of Wands. Now, before I continue, I did want to wait until this part to bring up now about their zodiac signs. So, Chris's zodiac sign is a Gemini, so that makes him an air sign, and his wife, Alba Bautista, she is a Cancer, so that makes her a water sign. Now, you can say, well, because from time to time I always like to see, especially when it comes to couples in marriages, we kind of also have to look at times, how are they aligned astrologically? And so astrologically helps because it kind of gives you a little bit more insight in terms of when you now look at personalities. No one has the same personality, right? Even if you are of the same element, the same sign, everyone have their own unique type of personality and traits. But the question is, when two people come together as such as a union, how will they bond? Will they align? Are they aligned? So, astrologically, when you look at air and water, it's not, you can say, it can be tough, it can be challenging. But overall, when it comes down to it, it is based upon, like any other element, in alignment, it's really depending upon the personalities, it's depending upon the maturity, and it's depending upon the communications that two people have that will be willing to make it work and to strive to remain in a relationship for the long haul. And what I feel is that they both will give it their best shot. And when I feel and tap into the energy of Alba, I feel like her being a water sign, the water sign represents that of the crab. The crab already, they feel at home. They are homebodies. They like to feel protected. And I feel that Chris protects her. Actually, it is said that we didn't know that he was even, per se, dating someone or he was even with her because he kind of protected her. He kept his relationship with her as private as can be. He's already kind of like a personal type of person. And so, we didn't know very much about who he was really dating. Even me, having him on my radar, he kind of got away with that, because if I had known that he was dating her, I might have would have just tried to, cop block and, no. But anyway, no. He's private. And so the fact that he was private, even now finding out that the person that he was dating for a year and then to get married, that just shows you that he is already a protector of her, to kind of want to keep her out of the public eye. And so that's very important and crucial to Cancers, especially to women. They need to feel protected, right? So with that being said, I feel like, she is nurturing and she is very loving toward him, as I feel the same toward her. So I said it because even though Geminis and Cancers may not be the best match astrologically, but like any other relationship and like with any other alignment in the signs, it really comes down to the two people's maturity. and communication. And I strongly feel that that the lines of communications between this couple is very good. I just feel that. I believe that they open up, express how they feel. I believe that Chris, especially if he was contemplating and thinking that, well, this is going to be the one for me, that this is going to be my wife, then I need to kind of open up and let her know and kind of share parts of me that I feel is going to help her to understand me, and I think vice versa. So I really feel that their communication is very strong, and that's very significant in any type of marriage, okay? So I just wanted to put that out there. So now, as I said, the first card that came out in this spread was the Four of Wands, okay? So Wands is just representing about family, happy home, family. But remember when I said that children, it's going to come about. They will have children, but not just yet, because I feel like his focus is about the home. Four Wands deals with the home. It also deals with recently celebrating a marriage. This is also like a soulmate kind of marriage type of energy card. So they just got married. It's almost like they're still celebrating that, right? Because sometimes when couples get married, sometimes they want kids right away. And for a moment, when I was channeling before bringing out the cards, I felt like at any given time that she can become pregnant. And I felt like them having kids would happen sooner than later. And although I still feel that, I still feel it, but as I brought the tools out, it's showing me that something that I didn't quite see in him until I got that, right? So, and that was the fear of being a father. So, that can happen. And so that fear, I think, is a part of him maybe wanting to hold back on having children, but at the same time, I feel like he wants to focus on his wife, because they are very much still in that honeymoon phase. And we know honeymoon phase is like 3 months. But you know what they say? If a couple can get through the first year of marriage, right? I think it's the first year, then that's good, because that is the most challenging period of a marriage. It's that first year. So I feel they would be okay. And I feel like they're going to be okay. Either way, I feel like they're going to be okay, and they're going to survive that first year. And then after that, now, maybe then he might feel like, you know what, let's do this. Because she is 26, by the way. He's 42 and she's 26. So she is still young. But when you think about it, she is actually the right age to have children, because the longer the woman waits, you know how it is for us, it's different. It's always different for us women than it is with the men, because with men, they can have babies, I believe, up until they're 70 at least. But for us women, our biological clock starts ticking, and then things become a little bit more complicated. So technically, if she was to get pregnant within this year or even next year, that would be good. She's at the right age to do so, because when she hits 35, that's where she becomes high risk. Okay? But I say that because, like I said, if they do decide to want to just start their family a year later, after that first year of just being together and just bonding more closely, then that would be the perfect timing. But this is what I feel, that he wants to just, kind of share and just give all his energy and love to her. And if you think about it, he is doing right, actually. Sometimes when you have kids too early when you get married, sometimes that can kind of, I don't want to say ruin, because kids is wonderful, but sometimes it can break a relationship. So it is usually, advised that a married couple usually wait before they have children. So anyway, let's move over to the next energy we have here, the King of Swords. And this is what I'm saying. The King of Swords is an energy. In this situation, I feel that this is him, because this is his energy. Swords is associated with air element, so him being a Gemini, this is his energy here, where I feel like he is being too hard on himself, because the King of Swords is an energy that is very strict, very firm, right? Not only to people or to, depending on the reading, for some readings, the King of Swords can come up, being like having being in charge, giving order to a community, giving order to an empire. You have a high status and ruling and making decisions. But sometimes it could just be a reflection upon you yourself. And to me, this speaks about his energy, not being too him being hard on himself, but he have to know not to be hard on himself. It's almost like he is already selling himself short as to what he can be. And when it comes to being a father, when he take that step, him and his wife decide, okay, we want to start a family, he got to kind of not be so hard on himself to know that he will be fine as a father. Now, moving on, we have the Fool. The Fool here is an energy of taking that leap of faith. So yes, I feel moving forward, he is going to take that leap of faith and decide, you know what, I can do this and I'm going to be okay. But also, with the Fool, it also is a young energy. And somewhere I did see, I think during the pre-shuffle, no, actually with the deck, we have the Hermit to me, which is, the Hermit energy is going within. And I feel like he is going to kind of just, like I said, put that on hold, kind of hold back a little bit from kind of having that family, right? But also maybe, like I said, thinking about it. Again, thinking too much about it. He's going to go in and get clarity somehow. It could be even from his own wife. Could be from his family to say, you know what, Chris, you got this. You're going to be a father. Stop thinking about it so much, because I think he might be psyching himself up too much, where he needs to kind of relax and just kind of be like, you know what, when it happens, I'm going to be okay. He's going to have the support of his family. But I pick up the Fool. I'm drawing to the Six of Cups, because the Fool, the Six of Cups, reminds me of childhood. So I feel like he's thinking about when he was a child, being at home with his father, being at home with his family, that somehow either one of which, either he thought about or saw, he observed maybe his father dealing with his brothers and sisters, and maybe he saw, what it entailed, what it involved, how his father kind of dealt with his brothers and siblings being a father. So it's almost like, to me, I feel like, can I measure up to my father? Will I be a good father? That's the part that I feel. So even though he is holding back at this time, but I do see him having children, and that they will eventually have a family. We got the next card up. We got the Three of Swords. This is his energy again. Disappointment. In this particular reading, the Three of Swords is disappointment. And I feel like, again, he just don't want to disappoint being that father. I just feel that he is just, or if this is not happening now, I feel like this is something that could come up in the future, where he feels where he's just going to just be too much in his head, because swords do deal with the mind, right? He's going to be too much in his head thinking about how well I'm going to be a father, and next to that, we got the High Priestess. This is an energy of emotions. And there's a part of Chris, too, that is emotional. I think I read something a while back where he says, he can cry easily. He's emotional. And that could just all be a part of, because normally air signs, they are typically not the most emotional. In fact, they are the least emotional. So it's very interesting. Of the zodiac sign, they are the least emotional. And Cancer's, his wife, is one of the most emotional of the emotional signs of the zodiac chart. So it was interesting that when I read that part about him, that he says, I can easily cry, that I am open. It kind of made me feel like, wow. So, he may actually have. I didn't go crazy and go too further, being a nutcase and trying to really get everything there is to know about him. But it's possible that Chris might have water somewhere in his chart. It's very possible, whether it could be his rising or his Venus. He might have water. But I feel that he's emotional, and that he will think about, like, you know what? If my wife is ready to have a baby, or want to start a family, then I feel like he will take her feelings into play, and know that this is not about me, and that I have to stop freaking myself out thinking about me becoming a failure, because I think that's what it means for him. I don't want to fail as a father. Okay, and then the last card out is the Eight of Wands. Eight of Wands can represent communication. And so I feel like it is also forward movement, forward action. So to me, this is almost like pinpointing that in the projected future, I still feel, not that far in the future though, I feel that this is something, I don't know why I keep picking up like in a year time. So like the first year of their marriage, no children, but I feel like the year after, going into the second year, I feel that they will maybe start to have children. That's what I feel. Like maybe the first or second month into the second year of their marriage, I feel that somehow we might hear that Chris Evans and Alba Batista, they are welcoming their first child together. All right. So when that story breaks, you'd be better believe I'm going to come back and update you on that one. But nonetheless, let's talk about, as we wind down, we're going to clarify. I wanted to clarify this Four of Wands. This Four of Wands is being clarified by the Two of Wands, the Nine of Cups, and the Sun. So what does all of these clarifying energies mean pertaining to this Four of Wands is that, yes, they are planning and that they will progress to have children. It will be a part of the family dynamic. So in other words, it's like it's just them two, but soon thereafter, there will be children in the mix, because the Two of Wands is planning, it's progress, right? It's two people making the decision, making the choice to go ahead. Nine of Cups is wish fulfillment. He hopes, he has dreams. They both want children. This is like her energy. And this is what I'm saying. I feel like, he is going to see her excited about wanting to start a family, because the Sun is one of the most brightest, one of the most happiest, one of the most positive cards. But at the same time, if you look closely, if you zoom in, we see a child here. So this is something that, like I said, is definitely in the future. It's going to happen. Like I said, it could be very well where maybe he might decide, you know what? I was kind of waiting a little bit later, but my wife is very eager to have a child, to start a family. So who knows? At any given time, it can happen. It can go down at any given time. And then I wanted to clarify exactly the Fool energy. Remember the Fool? We got the Nine of Swords and the Star. And this is what I'm saying. I'm sorry, not the Nine, the Ten of Swords. This is an energy that of someone feeling backstabbed. Generally, depending on the reading and other scenarios, this could be feeling backstabbed by someone. But sometimes we can cause our own backstabbing type of energy. This is like self-sabotage, but with the mind. And this is what I'm saying and feeling, that Chris, I think have been overthinking about this father duty thing. And with the Star here, this is just clarifying, just like the Sun, he is going to be an awesome dad. He is going to make a very good father. But at the same time, I just feel like I could just see him now being interviewed after the child is born, maybe like when the child is like a year old. And I could just see him, being interviewed, and whoever's interviewing him saying, so Chris, how is being a dad? And it's like, well, I'm on daddy duty. I'm on daddy call. I'm changing the Pampers. I'm feeding the baby. My wife, she's doing this while she's out. I'm, looking after whatever the child name may be. I'm looking after John. And it's so great. I could hear him being so happy that he didn't hold off anymore about having a child. He's going to be an awesome dad. He's going to see it. His wife is going to see it. His family going to see it. And I think even his co-stars, because I feel like they were as well, no doubt, a part of this union. And I feel like he keep in touch with his fellow co-stars. And I feel that they are just going to just see him stepping into the role of being a dad, just as he has stepped into the role of being a married man. All right, Mono, I hope that I addressed your questions there. And if I have, you know what to do. Send some fire to that thumbs button to give me a like, but drop your comment and your feedback into the section, and all we can say is, ladies, Alba she is definitely a very lucky woman, and I hope that he's a lucky man. And I would just say overall, as we close this out, that he is in a good place in his life. So at the end, we wish him both the best with this union and babies in the future. Until the next reader's request, coming up next, my other celebrity um, star reading that I'm about to do now will be Mr. Johnny Depp. So I will be back in a little while as I prepare for that reading. Have to upload this as this hasn't been uploaded yet, and then after that I will prepare for Johnny's Depp reading. All right, everyone. For those that come across this reading, I hope you enjoyed. If you do, drop your feedbacks in and let me know what did you think about this. All right. See you guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye.